I think the audio on this one may be lacking a bit of power, possibly. Welcome to Lot 76 Cars. My name's Simon and today we're at the Ford Fair 2023. Apparently this is one of the biggest Ford shows in Europe. A lot of cars still arriving. Some really tasty looking cars in the background. Let's go and have a walk around the show. Let's try and see some of the action that's going on, and maybe we can have a chat with some of the owners as well. So check this out. This is a genuine Lotus Cortina Mark II four-door. Yes, four-door, you heard it right. They built, I think, maybe 4 of these cars. 2 of them were used by the so-called Mid-Anglia Constabulary. I think it's Cambridgeshire Constabulary now. The owner rescued this. Originally it was going to be a donor car, and then he discovered, digging back, it was actually owned by the Mid-Anglia Constabulary, and even managed to get in touch with the station that had it and the policeman that drove it. So I've got a full interview with this guy on my Bromley pageant video, so check that out, and where I have a chat with the owner. But it's a fabulous car. Good to see it make it here today. So not one, if you're scared of heights, is this 4-wheel drive German built Transit that somebody has put a very period touring car livery on. Wow, that is something else. I always say it might be the only one at the show. I'm pretty convinced this is the only one at the show. Look at the level of detail that they put into the livery. Tricentral, remember those guys? They were Ford dealers back in the day. And it looks absolutely amazing. You need a step to get in that one. Got the single rear door. Fabulous. What a great job somebody's done with that. This is an early Mark II Escort. It looks like a 75. I think the changeover year was 75 in actual fact. It's got some of the features like the round lights. Doesn't yet have the Ford badge in the middle, just has the Ford letters. It's a 1.1, so it's towards the bottom end of the range. Looks like it's got the old vinyl seats on it, but great to see that here today, isn't it? I think in 1990 Ford uprated the Sierra, and they changed the strips on the side, they changed the lights. This is a GLX model, so benefiting from those wipers on the lights. Remember, they were all the rage, weren't they? They also changed the lights at the rear, and they're sort of like a smoked finish, more rounded smoke finish at the rear. Again, not so many of those around. So this is a 1964 Ford Consul, or Cortina Consul, originally called Consul, and then I think the name was actually changed and the Consul name eventually was retired, but certainly used on other products. This looks like it's one of the pre-airflow cars, or maybe it's an airflow car. No, it looks like a pre-airflow car where they had improved ventilation with extending the grille and additional grills at the back. No, I think it's pre-airflow, to be honest. I finally made my mind up on that one. If I'm wrong, stick it in the comments, guys. Now here's a car that's far rarer than the XR2 in a Mark I form. It is only ever produced in a Mark I form. It's the Ford Fiesta Super Sport. Is this original Super Sport? Well, the interior would say that it is. I'm not sure. These sell for incredible amounts of money. During lockdown, one of these, a very nice one, changed hands at Anglia car auctions for, wait for it, £24,000. That's difficult to believe, that, isn't it? But they are special cars, they are rare, and that one's superb. So we're into the last few years of Mark II production. We've got the square headlamps have now appeared on the car. This is a gear model and it is in Tuscan beige. Got those lovely wheel trims with rings, a tobacco coloured vinyl roof, and it's a stunning looking car, isn't it? Looks to be a manual as well. Appears to have the original dealer sticker in the back, and it's 1.6. Oh, there's a lot to like about that one, isn't there? So this is a rare one. At the top of the original Sierra range was the XR4 before the 4x4. This one's an early car, looks like it's probably an 83. Now the interesting thing with this car is that body treatment, the side glass, was unique to that car. It was not actually used again on other Sierras. So there were different treatments. The Cosworth's different again, but the XR4i, the original one, had that original 3 side glass treatment, which is really unusual. That's in great order. These are pretty collectible these days. So I feel we might have been a bit light on Capri content here. So to make up for it, here's this lovely 2-litre laser supplied by Bryan Brothers in Bristol. It looks quite a late car. If it's a D, that'd make it an 86. And I think we're right on the cusp of the end of production of the Capri. Nevertheless, it's lovely to see this one here today, and makes a change from all the 280s that we normally see, doesn't it? Lovely. Packing around 130 horsepower only and built in relatively limited numbers is this Fiesta RS Turbo. One or two features unique to the RS Turbo. You can see that green fleck in the bumpers rather than red on the XR2Is that continues all the way along the side. It's also got that, I think the interior is unique. Lovely, lovely, comfortable looking Recaro seats. That familiar Ford dashboard. Supercar. I did drive one of these back in the day. Unfortunately, most of it was stop-start driving. Didn't get the chance to enjoy it, but I know the turbo was a little bit on and off as I remember. But nevertheless, what a rare car. So there were just over 1,000 of these 280 Brooklands Capris built, basically run the car out by Ford. Apparently, of just over 1,000 built, around 10% were Turbo Techniques versions like this one, and of that, maybe less than a handful of them actually survived. We're going to have a chat with the owner in a second, try and find out a bit more about his relationship, what he's done to the car, because I think he's also done a few modifications, some period modifications. We've got that fabulous Ford Motorsport spoiler. So without further ado, let's have a chat with him. Andrew's got this rare 280 Brooklands Capri, but it's a bit rare, isn't it, because it's got a Turbo Techniques conversion and a different spoiler.
Yeah, it's a Motorsport spoiler, rear spoiler and splitter on front. Okay. Ford Motorsport. Yeah, it's just stage 2 Turbo Techniques, running about 260 brake.
Okay, so what sort of power output have we got with that?
About 265 brakes she's running out.
Okay, that's quite a lot. Standard?
Yeah, standards are about 186.
Oh, so you really noticed that uplift?
Yeah, oh yeah. And then the stage 1 was just the bolt-on turbo. Stage 2 was the bolt-on turbo with the low compression pistons and few mods.
Right.
But the engine's been modified anyway.
And this was a factory conversion, or so post-factory conversion that was done?
It were, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got the original bill of receipt.
Okay.
The guy who actually paid the deposit on it, the dealers sent it to Turbo Techniques and had a stage 2 done on it.
Right.
And then from there, they ordered the Ford
the Ford Motorsport spoiler, yeah.
Yeah, and the splits, and they had them fitted as well.
Yeah, I'll cut that in the videos, guys, because that's quite unusual, I must admit. That must have cost him quite a lot back in the day.
Yeah, I think these were something like £12,000 new.
Wow.
And I think the conversion was something like £3,500 on top of that.
On a £12,000 car,
yeah, on top
right.
of the £12,000, yeah.
That's
so
quite an investment.
25% on top.
And you've even got the original stereo and things. Have you done a lot of work to it while you've had it?
Yeah, she's had a full nut and bolt restoration. I've had it all sewed. I had the shell stripped to a soda blasted.
Wow.
The only welding that she actually needed was new jack-up points underneath. Okay. Where they got crushed. So she had no jack-up points and one headlight barrel, which were a bit rotten, so I had that took out and replaced. Oh. And obviously it's had a full nut and bolt restoration all the way through.
Oh, fabulous. Well, thank you for telling us about it. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Cheers.
Lovely, thank you.
So this is a rare one. It's a Ford Escort Harrier, a standard car based on the Sport, but sold during the run-out period. It's got those stripes on there that are unique to the Harrier. Genuine Harriers are few and far between, and this one is one, and the owner's done a massive amount of work to it. So we're going to have a chat with him and find out a bit more about this car, because I don't recall seeing one in the flesh for a hell of a long time. We're going to have a chat with Stuart, who's got this fabulous Ford Escort Harrier, which I believe was a run-out car that Ford ran about in 1980. But tell us about these. They're pretty rare, aren't they?
Yeah, they're 1980. There was 1,000 white and 500 silver made, January 1980. All registered on V plate, apart from 2, and I think they're W's.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, so there ain't many left, handful.
And the differences between this and a standard car are mechanically similar, cross-flow engine you mentioned?
Yeah, on the logbook, all Harriers are Sport.
Okay.
1600 Sport on the logbook.
Oh, that was the donor car, okay.
Yeah. And then on the VIN plate,
right,
it starts with certain letters to prove it's a Harrier.
Okay, I understand. And how many do you think survive now out of these?
I don't really know. There seems to be a lot more about than originally. I think there's a lot of copies.
Right,
fakes.
yes, yeah.
But I think there's a handful of silver ones. And
you've done quite a bit of work to this, you mentioned, to get it back on the road?
Yeah, I bought it September. There's a bit of a shell.
Right.
The chap who I bought it from in London had done a lot of work.
Right.
A lot of work to it. All under engine bay and all underneath. And me and my mate finished it off.
Oh, fabulous. And this is what, one of the first outings?
No, I've used it a lot. You know, I was out in it Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday went for a ride out, and then I've driven it over here.
Oh, great.
I use it a lot.
That's good you're using it. They deserve to be used, don't they? Well, I'm very jealous. I wanted my dad to buy one back in the day, and he said it wasn't practical for a family with 3 kids without rear doors, but fabulous cars, and thanks for talking to me about it. Thanks very much. Cheers. So this is a Ford Fiesta Mark 1 gear. It's a facelifted car. You'll notice that it's got the bigger bumpers on. It's unusual to see the gears actually. They were sold in far bigger volumes in the L's and Populars and Popular Pluses. It's got those trademark Ford wheels of the time. Lovely colour. I'm not sure what that colour is. If I manage to find out, I'll stick it on screen. Another lovely Capri laser. This time I'm pretty sure this one is Paris blue. I may be correct if I'm wrong. It's a great colour. I remember having a 1.6 injection Orion in that same colour. That's why it sort of stayed in my memory. In lovely condition, that one, isn't it? So this is what an award-winning RS Owners Club Focus looks like. This pea green wonder has won all of those trophies in front of it. The condition is stunning. Let's just take you closer and have a look at the engine bay. The interior looks incredible. You can see that it's almost like new. Even the mirrors underneath give you the chance to see what it's like. It's just as impressive from the back of the car as well. And helpfully the owners remove one of the wheels so we can have a look at that wheel arch in the front. This is what you can achieve with hours and hours and hours of time. Look at that. I think the body on my car doesn't look as good as the underbody on this one. That is incredible, isn't it? Wow. Wow, that is a real testament to the work that's gone into that. Whether you'd be afraid to drive it, I don't know, but certainly deserving of all the trophies it's won. Now, if you're lacking a bit of green in your life and you want a Kermit theme and you don't want to focus, then you've got a couple of other options. You've got a Ford Mondeo Estate on air suspension. That's something else, isn't it? Wow, that's quite some colour. And if that's not big enough for you, next to it we've got a Ford Transit matching set. Perfect. I think there's a theme going on here. Orange Focus RS Cosworth, green, orange, green, orange, green, orange. Yeah, you get the picture. So Kiwi Paul Radisich actually raced one of these successfully in the British Touring Car Championship. This has got his name on. Nigel Mansell actually crashed one, took it off at Craner Curve spectacularly in one of the touring car races, just missing Tiffany Dell. Yeah, it's the saloon version of the Mondeo Mark 1. Not sure if it's the actual car, but certainly if it's a recreation, they've done a pretty good job with it. Great to see that logo. That's when touring cars were in their golden age, weren't they? And talking of touring cars, we've got the Matt Neal or Steve Neal logoed car there. 100 plus alloy wheels sponsored. And again, takes us back to that fabulous era of BTCC, doesn't it? Back in the 90s. Those were the days. So this 1.8 GLX from 1993 has got quite a bit of history with it, including the original purchase invoice. So we're going to have a chat with the owner and see what it means to own one of Britain's most popular cars in 2023 and how much he uses it and what he's done to it, because it's incredible condition. I think apart from those wheels, it's pretty much unmodified. It's the 1.8, it's maybe not the fastest, it's a lot faster than the diesel one I used to have back in the day, which was a bit of a slug, but it's been perfectly preserved, even got the original dealer's sticker back in the window. So let's have a chat with him and find out a bit more about it. So Barry's got this fabulous Ford Mondeo GLX, 1.8 GLX. Yep. I saw it's got the original purchase invoice. I presume you've had it in the family from you, or you've known it from you?
No, it's just the history that came with the car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was just nice to keep hold of it.
Right. And what made you chase after a Mondeo? What was the...
I've always liked my old Fords, and I just wanted something as a daily.
Yeah, a bit more usable, yeah?
Compared to my Mark 5 Escort, this is luxury.
Oh, absolutely.
So it was just something I could use, not worry about.
Have you done much work to it, or...?
Mainly just tidying it up. It's had the cam belt and water pump done. Just general maintenance. It's not had to have much, to be honest. It's been really reliable.
Okay, and what particularly Mondeo, what attracted you to the Mondeo?
I've always liked them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just always liked them. Been into Ford since I was a kid because my dad worked for Fords.
Oh,
so it's in my blood.
At Halewood.
He worked at Halewood, yeah. So I've just always liked them, and don't think there's much of a following for the old Mondeos.
No, I think it'll get there. I think it's
I've
coming,
got a
isn't
soft
it?
spot for them.
Yeah.
I've always liked the big car. I prefer the saloons.
Yeah.
Always liked the saloon, but I've always liked the long car.
And they did drive well, didn't they?
Yeah, it's lovely.
And they do drive well.
This is nice and quiet because I haven't ruined it with a big exhaust.
Yeah, well, let's keep it that way. Excellent. Oh, well, thanks for talking to us about it.
No problem. Thank you very much.
So I'm reliably informed this is the biggest Ford show in Europe, and I wouldn't argue with that. We've got cars from the Netherlands. I can see there a car with a Belgian number plate on, and I can see quite a contingent of Dutch number plates as well. So fabulous to see that so many people have come to the UK, to Silverstone, for this fabulous Ford event. Brilliant, isn't it? So packing a 2-litre engine and 200 brake horsepower, a Focus Mark 1 added some sparkle. So it's the first time the RS badge, I think, had been added to a Ford after the demise of the Escort. Fabulous handling cars. I think pretty much they were all in this blue shade. I've never seen one in another colour. If there is one, then please feel free to comment. Some really well prepared car. There's probably, I don't know, 20 or 30 of these here today. And I have to say, all of them, looking back on this row, are in absolutely brilliant condition. In fact, there's several rows of them, to actually be fair. So we filmed the successor to this car. This is the Ford Probe. We've filmed the Cougar somewhere else in the video. These were built in the USA, predominantly for the US market. Got those trademark pop-up lamps, probably one of the last cars to feature pop-up lamps. Actually a relatively wide car even now, got that huge glass area. This one's in black. I think they were predominantly 2-litre and 2.5, and this is probably the 2.5. It says 24 valve. I'm guessing it's the 2.5. To celebrate the 30th birthday of the Fiesta in 2007, Ford produced a special version of the Fiesta based on the Zetec S, with this checkered roof. I think there was a lime green one, this yellow one, and I believe there was also a red one as well. It's got some of the styling features inside. I think it's got some of those yellow touches inside the vehicle. Yep. It's got the checkered roof. Yep, reminds me of a scale electric car, that one. This one's got a roof spoiler. I don't think there's anything extra in the way of badging. Most of the ones I've seen have actually been badged Z-Tech S, to be honest with you, but only 300 built, by the way. Quite a rare car. So this is the XR3. Yes, before the XR3i, there was a carburettor, I think Weber carburettor equipped XR3, had a relatively short life. I think maybe 105 brake horsepower, something like that. Got those original telephone dial alloy wheels there. I can't see the interior, got that laser interior. You can see it on the back there with a red stripe. You can also see the rear spoiler and the fact it is an XR3. Great to see that here today, and that one's actually won an award this year. So congratulations, guys. So this car is literally later this month to have its 40th birthday. Owned by a lady who split her time originally between Australia and the UK, so the car only got used half a year, so the owner's got all the tax this. He's pretty much cleaned it. It's pretty much as found, except he's spent an exceptional amount of time cleaning this fabulous car. It's a late example of a Mark 1. Quite a late example, but I mean, if I show you the level of preparation that this car's had lavished on it, you would be utterly amazed. I mean, just look in the boot there. You could eat your dinner from the spare wheel. The spare wheel wells are there. You've got a Ford service kit there, obligatory model Ford first aid kit. It's stunning, isn't it? Absolutely stunning. So the owner does use it. Had about 13,000 miles, I think, when he got it. It's now got a heady 24,000 miles on it from new. And happy birthday for later this month. What a beauty. Bearing the livery of Repsol, the Spanish fuel company, is this fabulous Ford Focus Mark II. Look at the level of detail under the bonnet. Again, this plasti dipping seems to be absolutely the way to go. Just see if you can pick up on that level of detail there. That somebody has plasti dipped lots of the engine compartment in. Light bars at the front. God, it's an incredible car, isn't it? Wow, shout out to the owner for that one. So this Mark II's picked up an award here today, and deservedly so. It's badged a 1.3L. It looks a bit like a Ghia, a bit like the one next to it there, but this one has certainly had an engine upgrade. That doesn't look like some Kent Pusher engine or whatever he's had in the day. There's its rosette. It's one. Sorry about the background noise. Somebody just intent on revving their way to oblivion. But here we go. Let's get a shot from the back of this award winner. That looks a beauty, doesn't it? I do miss my Mark II Escort at times like this. Shout out to the Welsh contingent who brought along this fabulous Ford Focus, complete with a big old dragon on the side. I'm liking that one, guys. Oh, well done. Looks fantastic. And that very subtle rear spoiler. Great. And not wishing to be left out, we've got the Ranger Raptors, a full contingent of these guys. Some with roof tents, some without. All ready for action. So this less than humble Fiesta ST, or ST150 as some people refer to it, has been modified and remapped to within an inch of its life, and allegedly produces 367 bhp at the wheels, and it's got a bit of a yellow theme going on there as well. Oh, this is an absolute work of art. Now the owner's very helpfully left the interior open, so feast your eyes on that one. Well, you better like yellow, or this might be the wrong place for you. So if you're a nervous disposition, you'll have to skip this bit. What an absolute work of art. I bet this car is an absolute monster of epic proportion. Unbelievable. So the humble Ford Focus 1.6 Z-Tech is apparently the one to have, according to all the experts. This is the one with the slightly stiffened suspension. It's the 3-door rather than the 5-door, so probably a bit stiffer still. And this is apparently the absolute perfect balance of ride and handling, as recommended by Chris Harris of Top Gear fame. So it must be good then. Where did you see one that's in that condition? Not for a while, I bet. So the Ford car, or KA to some people, was launched I think with the Kent pushrod engine, maybe the 1.3 engine from previous generation Fiestas, but by the time this version arrived, this is the sport car, which is a totally different proposition with a 1.6 litre engine, far better appointed inside, and I think it's got something in the way of about 100 plus brake horsepower. I'll pop that on the screen if I remember that one. I'll certainly try and check that one for you. These are really starting to get appreciated now. Like many Fords of the area, they rotted, but thankfully, like both of these two, this more standard version, they've survived well, haven't they? Did you know there's a Ford Focus C-Max Owners Club? Yeah, really, and they're here. So they're well represented. They've got a few cars here today, and it breaks up some of the immense numbers of Escort, Cosworths and Focus STs. Wow. Those of you affected by flashing lights, please switch off now. It's like Blackpool illuminations, doesn't it? So a Ford Cortina Mark V estate, it is a rare beast these days. So this one's apparently a Crusader, although it's in this single shade, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Again, familiar Mark V styling. I think they just lifted the back off the Mark IV estate and just plonked a revised front on it. But the bit that always disturbs me with this car is what they did with the rubbing strip on the side, particularly on the higher spec versions. It looks a bit incongruent rather, as it butts up against that rear bumper bar corner section. Anyway, it's been bothering me for a while, that one, so let's get it out there. But there you go, Cortina Mark V estate. So for Harry Potter fans, I've got your back covered. We've got an Anglia 105E. That's a stunning car. What a massive step forward this car was. So much so that Ford put together a one-page apology when they said it was taken over from the Escort in 1968. So this has got a Harris tuned engine. Look at the condition of the interior. It's incredible. And of course that iconic styling, I guess probably driven by stateside Ford styling at the time. That sort of backward sloping window. I think the only other car that had that was what, Citroen Ami or something like that. Fabulous to see that here today. A few Anglias here today, a few modified ones, but that's lovely, isn't it? So let's try and round off with a few more Cortinas. The Coke bottle style, so called because of that side treatment. And this looks to be a GXL-J. What's that, 71? Must be a very early car. Next to it we've got a 74 GT. I think the GTs are relatively rare cars as well, to be honest with you. Jump to a Capri, and oh, this is lovely, isn't it? It's S with that trademark strip on the side of it. I'm not sure what engine it is. It's like a 4-cylinder lump, I think. Fabulous. Couple of these up for sale now that started in the professionals, but will be considerably more than this one. I think there's a guide price of about $250,000 on those, and it's a 2 litre, it's a 4-cylinder 2 litre S. Lovely, isn't it? So this Sierra has the look of a very early estate car. It's got that grille that only the early cars had. It was changed maybe a couple of years into production. This one's had a bit of modification. I don't think those wheels were standard. I certainly think the engine's been tickled quite a bit, not just sprayed pink, the block. Nevertheless, the other work that's been done to the car means it's a true survivor. I don't recall seeing a Sierra Mark I estate in this condition for a hell of a long time. So thanks again for joining me on Lot 76 Cars at the 2023 Ford Fair. Hope you've enjoyed the cars we've seen. Check out all the parts of the video in case you haven't already. Please like, share, subscribe, click on notifications to be made aware of when my next video is out. and look forward to you joining me on the next one. Thanks for watching.